So I applaud it. And believe me,
Brilliant.
I was a big doubter.
I love it when doubters turn pro. Alrighty, almost at 4 minutes, 2 minutes past. Okay, I'll begin just to kind of be conscious and mindful of all of your time. Welcome, everyone. Really good to have you here on this session. I'm joined by the lovely Steph Warner, who has been working with this treatment, or shouldn't call it treatment, got to be careful with the words we use, this technology for 3.5 years. I've been using it on and off for almost 10 years. And more recently, I've introduced it into my practice with clients, and it's really pretty exciting. And some of you know how I began working in holistic health. I want to give you a very, very quick background because it's important because it's all around getting to the cause and how I stumbled upon the whole idea of getting to the cause, which bioresonance is really good with. So before I bring Steph on, I just want to give you a quick rundown and a couple of examples, and then then I'm going to share. We're going to talk and just have a conversation. Is that cool with you, Steph? If you said no, it's going to be awkward. Alrighty, let's do this. So I will share my screen. I'm not going to mute everyone. So if you want to share something or say something, just please speak up. I've called this using bioresonance to address the underlying cause of chronic illness and to heal. You might have seen this in the LinkedIn invite. Future medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. That guy was pretty switched on. You might know who he is. This is my book on the right, my recent one. I talked about 3 secrets of vitality here. Just get to the cause, address the cause, and then refuel across every angle of health. Here's another quote on Nikola Tesla, or by Nikola Tesla. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And this technology, of course, is all about that. Like everyone I know who works in holistic health, I come with a story of healing something, as Steph will share in a moment. And I realized, having used these treatments for 30 years, steroid creams, moisturizing creams, antibiotics, none of these treatments were addressing the cause, and they actually all cause harm. So that was my story for 30 years. I discovered its underlying cause very accidentally when my dad suffered a stroke. I kind of followed my intuition. I knew he didn't have to suffer this stroke, and I did some research, and very quickly I realized that the underlying cause of his stroke, which was chronic inflammation, was also behind his hypertension, which led to his stroke, and also the asthma he'd had since he was 12, and eczema I'd had for 30 years. So I went on a very strict anti-inflammatory diet and lifestyle, and very quickly I healed my skin from within. And it's really been the start of my journey focusing on chronic inflammation, which is really underlying just about every chronic illness. They're listed here. I won't read them all out for you. You know, almost every chronic illness is rooted in chronic inflammation, including heart disease and cancer and cerebrovascular and all the autoimmune. So it's really underlying almost every challenge. And these are the kind of challenges I've helped people reverse over the last 9 years. I won't go into them. What is inflammation? I think it's really good to know this right now, because the bioresonance is really helpful behind this kind of definition. If we think of inflammation as your immune system protecting you from foreign or alien intruders, like they might be described as toxins, for example. Toxins, the body can be exposed to toxins. We might have toxins in our body. We might have environmental toxins. Any kind of threat has the potential to create this inflammatory response in the body. So we want to be mindful and finding out which threats are causing our immune system to be basically going into defense to protect us. It's a very healthy immune response. If we didn't have it, we'd die. So we need to be grateful for it. We don't want to be inflamed all the time. And another reason for inflammation is chronic stress. And when you really peel back the layers of the onion, it really goes into emotional health, which is what the software we're about to share talks about as well. And it's also a result of deficiency of essential cell fuels. So those 3 things: toxins, chronic stress, cell fuels. Simplistically, that's what creates inflammation. So we're all about getting to the underlying cause. That's like my whole remit. Steph's too. Everything is about finding the cause of the symptom. If we just take drugs, we're missing the point. And, or rather, we're missing why we have the symptom. So chronic inflammation, I've described it as a problem. It's not really a problem. It's a healthy immune response. It's like an indication that we need to rebalance. So this is one of my favorite taglines. If you don't recognize an ingredient, your body won't either. #inflammation. That's just food related. This goes much beyond food. These are amazing in emergencies, of course, to get us out of trouble. They're phenomenal in pain reduction, and my own parents are alive thanks to them, and many friends. And they're clearly amazing in emergencies. When it comes to the treatment of illness and dis-ease, they're really failing to address something really major, which is the underlying cause. So symptoms, I consider symptoms as warning lights on your car dashboard. We want to get under the hood and figure out why the body is displaying the symptoms. In other words, get to the cause. EMFs crashed my immune system in 2017, and it really opened me up to the idea of the body electric, which is what many of you have heard me discuss. And it's really important to know for bioresonance, because when we understand the electrical nature of the human body, we can start to understand why organs aren't functioning or functioning as well as they could be. So one of the favorite taglines from Dr. Jerry Tennant, is one of my main teachers in this field, is a characteristic of all chronic illness is low voltage in an organ. So I've said a lot. Does anyone have any comments before I move on to the next bit? Okay. So this is one type of bioresonance scan. It's called NLS. Many of these devices use over 100,000 frequencies, and consider that everything in the body is a frequency. Every muscle, tissue, bone, ligament, blood, everything has a frequency, and toxins and parasites and candida and fungi and everything you can think of has a frequency. So if we can really think about that, we can start to understand how we can use frequency to actually determine imbalances, and better still, we can even use frequency to rebalance. So on the left here, I've got a video of my well, this isn't my gallbladder, it's an illustration of a gallbladder. And I went and had a scan, this is about a year ago actually, and it revealed low voltage in my gallbladder. So let's see if this works, if you can hear this.
On this organotest machine. Scanning my gallbladder on this organotest machine. It's the one organ that's shown up as being...
You'll see what it was. This is what it looked like. That's what it looked like before. And after we did some...
Show the before?
This is the before.
Okay.
These were your curves.
We've treated it for E. coli.
Yes, we treated it with lethal therapy, and we did 3 methatherapy, and this is how it looks now. With curves almost even.
Most of the black wrong. Now, I didn't have any major symptoms of my gallbladder, but I could have developed something like gallstones. And now it's virtually fine. Go figure. What showed up in my throat?
Your tonsils.
Tonsils. I've got swollen tonsils, and it showed up. So we treated them as well. Here I am, just with an electrode, just scanning my body using frequency. Frequency therapy used to be around beginning of the century, beginning of the 20th century. And everything about the body is frequency. Different organs, tissues, bones, parasites, all of that stuff.
The organ. So now if we look...
I'm getting treated by frequency. Amazing. So. With the amazing Claire, who likes to remain anonymous.
See, all your biochemicals are in the blue now. We had a lot of red before. And we had E. coli showing up, and it's gone. So we have nothing showing up in microorganisms.
What's E. coli doing on my gallbladder? And what's coronavirus doing in my throat?
You're feeding it.
I wasn't intentionally feeding it.
No. So this is your liver, the back view, but see, we worked on the gallbladder, so we did work on that part. But we can give your liver a little methatherapy, perhaps.
This stuff is fascinating. You can't fix everything in one shot, but in a few sessions, you can fix a lot. Well done, Tesla, and all of you energy medicine pioneers.
Right. It's part
Rife,
of the
Royal Raymond
technology,
Rife. Some of these machines have 7,000 Royal Raymond Rife frequencies. This thing has Rife frequencies.
There's just one example. On the right is actually the E. coli. What we did is we raised the voltage of the mitochondria of the healthy cells in the gallbladder, and we dropped the voltage in the E. coli. You can do this with frequency. It was quite remarkable. I won't share with you. This is just lots of noises you can hear with the frequency. Here on the left is my brain, or rather an illustration of my brain, with areas of all these lights. These different machines have different technologies. Some of them show areas of low voltage. Other ones show gradients. Other ones show percentages. There's different ways to indicate health of parts of the body parts. So this is the brain. This showed that it's fairly good. I mean, yellow lights all over, which means healthy. I think that my brain is good. Wow. Must be all the breath work I do every day.
Yes, oh my goodness.
And cold showers. And cold therapy, ice therapy.
Well, there you go. That produces so much circulation. Beautiful. Yeah, very happy.
So towards the end of this,
Brain's pretty good. Eyes are weaker. Early this year, I did a GDV machine analysis, and it picked up in my energy field that I had a weaker energy field around my eyes. And now I'm getting it picked up in the physical. I'm in my little kind of toy zone here.
so on the right, we have the GDV machine, which I mentioned in that video. I won't play the video now, but it shows this GDV machine shows the energy field around
And
the whole
the
body.
next level stuff.
Actually, it's quite short. You can see this energy field around the human body. Mine was pretty good generally, but there was areas of low voltage, and the low energy areas happened to be around my eyes. So I had two very different machines.
Otherwise,
telling
there
me
wouldn't be
what's
the
going
balance
on.
in it.
And we're about to do next level stuff using really understand the biofields and the body electric, drawing upon all kinds of principles from the likes of Dr. Jerry Tennant, Nassim Haramein, understanding quantum, understanding that we emit energy and energy comes from our fingertips. Everything is resonance and frequency, and Chris is pretty advanced in this. We're going to be using a GDV machine, and it's called BioWell.
You're just putting the fingers on, and literally it measures the energy output through Correllian photography.
But I mean, your field it's really good. I like it. It's way above average.
Oh, that's good to hear. Can we have that on camera?
It is definitely. Oh yeah, it is definitely way above average. It's you're definitely doing good meditation. Otherwise, there wouldn't be that balance. And again, I mean, here's nothing where there's not enough energy, and so then it is actually quite normal that there's still things that have a higher energy than your average, because of course the body is constantly healing and
Readjusting
replacing.
and healing, yeah.
And I mean,
Can you see any organs that need any attention right now?
And if we go into the organs, and we, for example, then see where the biggest part is here, this one actually would be the only one which would be lower. So if we have something, it would be the eyes, and actually ears, nose.
Anyway, we can move on. That is my presentation, and I'd like to now bring Steph on. I wanted to just do that really quickly, just so you could have some illustrations of what this can do. Oh, one final example quickly before I bring Steph on. Last week, I had weird smelling pee. Sorry for the TMI. And I did a scan on this software we're going to be talking about, and it showed an inflamed prostate. And then I decided to go and double check this with another bioresonance scan machine owned by a friend of mine, a healer here in Mexico. And sure enough, she found bacteria on my prostate, which we then treated with two forms of one kind of, it's called a bioresonance treatment, and then homeopathy, a frequency. Within 10 minutes, the bacteria disappeared and it showed rebalancing, and it was fine. And then the next day, I seemed to be okay again.
This is very interesting to me, looking at my prostate. Check this out.
Okay, so
I can see black and red in my prostate.
Good to know right now, right? and there's bacteria in there, which is a reason why my pee's been smelling. TMI? Good to know though.
It's not really.
Not really TMI?
TMI? What's TMI?
Too much information.
Oh, too much information. Well, I mean, look.
It's mostly fine.
It's mostly fine.
All the yellows on in is good.
I think that is just a minor thing that's more going on with the urinary canal. And if you just, drink ginger tea and cinnamon.
I drink a lot of
something.
ginger tea.
Yeah.
Can we treat it now with frequency?
Sure. This is where it's going.
Male urinary bladder. Can get scanned and frequency balanced. What's happening here? What's showing?
It's no longer showing.
Bacteria in the prostate no longer showing. Cool or cool?
The uric acid was high before, and you have a few other things that were high.
Yeah, well the lights have gone yellow again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
We did some bioresonance therapy and some homeopathy on it in the last 10 minutes, and now it looks like the bacteria has gone. 10 minutes later. Imagine that.
So the standard of care in the Western medical route might be, even if you get to the diagnostic of the prostate, would be antibiotics, destroy the gut, just destroy the bacteria, but you'd also harm the gut microbiome at the same time. So that's just a little very recent example. Oh, another quick example. One of my first exposures to this, back in 2015, I took my father to Harley Street in London. He had this stroke, and the bioresonance machine picked up mercury in his teeth as the major stress of his body. So his sister, who's a naturopathic doctor, had told him 20 years beforehand, because she's a naturopath, to get the mercury out of his mouth. And he didn't listen. And the bioresonance scan confirmed after his stroke that the major stressor on his body was mercury. So we can get so much information from this. And without further ado, I want to bring on Steph. So you have to just listen to me. Welcome, Steph.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for being here. We were introduced by a mutual friend, and my mutual friend's mother had phenomenal results with this, reversing damage from a certain medical intervention in the last 3 years, which caused her heart damage. And I was pretty sold. And then Vicky, our mutual friend, introduced me to Steph. So Steph, thank you again for being here.
Yeah.
Can you give us a bit of a background as to your story and your entrance into the world of energy medicine?